for Diamond Division. So this is from the round of 16 and on. So obviously these are all the matches that we have. And, again, noticing that Lion Esports Club, of course, they're claiming that top spot here in this cycle as a result of winning the previous one. That's what I've liked about this season. Unlike season number 1, where it was based on the standings going into cycles, it didn't seem like we had a whole lot of variety because of that when it came to the seedings from cycle to cycle. Now with this season, it was changed where it matters how you do the previous cycle to determine where you're seated in the next cycle instead. So if you have a bad cycle performance, you're going to have a bad seed in that next cycle, no matter what your overall standing is. And then, vice versa, with if you have a great performance like Lions did, finishing first, then they'll get that number 1 seed. So obviously, they're pretty happy to have that. Going to be going up against You Love to Party there in that first matchup. But obviously, we'll keep an eye to see how they do amongst pretty much every other team. And definitely some fun matchups going on. And, of course, this is going to be our first of 2 best-of-3s today, as always, here, ladies and gentlemen. Getting kicked off for the round of 16. Obviously, we'll follow it up with the round of 8. And as always, some really, really good matchups on the line there. I mean, when you look at the competitive HoN scene right now, there's honestly, you got really 8 to 10 teams that are very, very quality teams, can compete with one another and can beat one another really on any given Sunday, as a classic term goes. So it's especially when we get to that round of 8, the second round of today and on here in these cycles, it's where it really starts to get interesting with the results. And we've seen that in the previous cycles. Anyways, I'm blabbering on here about old cycle number 5. Obviously, we got a match in front of us of RpTm versus Justice League here in this best out of 3. So let's take a look to see what's going on as far as how this game has progressed so far. I did have to connect a little bit late, unfortunately, because of, some DC issues. So I missed the initial bans. I mean, working off of what we just had banned right there. It looks like it was probably Engineer. What else is in there? Engineer. No, Corrupt was banned next. Engineer. Let's see. Ophelia. Engineer, Ophelia, Tempest, and Prisoner. Yeah, Engineer, Ophelia, Tempest, and Prisoner were banned out. First pick, Master of Arms. We had Keeper into Rally, Pyromancer, Aluna, and then Fade to finish things off, coming out for Justice League. You see the next tier of bans, pretty carry-heavy for the most part by both sides, in fact. From Dampier to Predator to Hag to Corrupt to Sandwraith. I mean, Pebble's the only kind of non-carry hero there throwing in that pool when it comes down to it. So I might have been a little bit loud right there. Yeah, so. But with that said, I'm excited, man. I'm excited here as far as casting here in what is cycle number 5. So Arachna picked up, by the way, by RpTm as far as their 4th pickup going in to cycle number 5 here for game number 1. Andromeda going to be the response from Justice League. I almost said Internet Gangsters, looking at Story Footer there, but of course he is playing for Justice League now. But the Arachna pickup, though, very, very interesting pickup. Now, a couple of things coming out here as far as that Arachna pickup is concerned. Obviously, her ultimate being the Spider Sting, it's a very good ability all around, of course, great ranking tool and whatnot. It is also great against stealth-style heroes, something like that Keeper, and, of course, even Fade when it comes down to it. So the Arachna pickup, maybe along those lines, that's what they're kind of thinking. Also consider kind of that anti-carry hero. Now, Justice League, of course, doesn't necessarily have their outright carry just yet. You got to figure they're going to be finishing off with a very heavy carry band, so it's going to be interesting to see what they go with in the end. But going with that Arachna pickup here on RpTm, that also usually leans more towards an aggressive, much more of an aggressive playstyle. And Arachna, no doubt, again, especially when she hits that level 6 mark, she can be very aggressive and very mobile. But at the same time, if you need her to sit back and farm, she doesn't have the greatest farming tool set by any means. But if you do let her get some farm, she can be pretty dangerous come that late game. So Team Kage going to be finishing off right here. Looks like they're shaping up to run the obvious 2-2-1 style of strategy. Now it's just a matter of looking at what they have. Probably going to be that Rally Suicide, and they do finish off with Magmus in the end. Magmus, we don't really see much more anymore as far as the competitive scene is concerned. When it comes down to it, obviously you got B-Kid, the Swagmas over there for Team USA. Granted, them, again, speaking of Team USA, of course, they're coming off a pretty disappointing finish last cycle. They finished in 7th, 8th place spot. Didn't even make it to the second weekend, so we'll see how they do this time around. But Magmus going to be finished here by RpTm, so we'll see how they make that work. Look at that. Justice League going a little bit out of the box, though. They finish off with Switchblade. Again, you look at the bands, however, very carry-heavy bands here, especially in that second tier of bands. Really, 5 of those 6 heroes have that carry presence. So not a whole lot of, go-to options left open to choose from. So Justice League going to go a little bit outside of the box, and they are going to finish with Swiftblade. Now, Swiftblade's kind of an interesting hero finish here. Obviously, we went back to talking about Arachna and her presence and how with that ultimate she can kind of be considered that anti-carry, especially against melee carries for the sake of her Spider Sting and that web shot being able to effectively kite. But you do got that spin ability from Swiftblade, and ever since that Runic Shift patch, getting that what I consider a buff, and I think most do, how, of course, you can attack at all levels now, and you get the 100% attack speed when you hit that level 4 in that spin. So, obviously, going to be looking to take advantage of that against Arachna, perhaps, and maybe that's some logic there. And also with that the Swift Slash is going to be coming out from him as well. That's where the kite presence might not be as powerful when it comes down to it. So here we are, game number 1. Going to kick things off with a pause, but yeah, the final pick, Swiftblade, again, it's with so many being banned, it's going to be fun to seeing what they bring to the table, though, with Swiftblade. I've always been a huge fan of Swiftblade. I think he's just a fun hero in general to not only play, but to definitely watch. Again, the Swift Slashes make for some entertaining moments in those fights, one of those RNG-heavy kind of abilities. At the same time, though, if in a good player's hands, you'll look to use it appropriately, when there's not many creeps around and whatnot. And you look at this Legion side, they don't really have any creep creators, Ophelia, Keeper, Balfagor, or anything like that. So that's obviously going to be pretty effective. In that sense, that's where you also look at, if you're something like this Arachna here, maybe looking to try to get that Geometer's Bane ASAP. Can definitely absorb some hits there from Swiftblade and the Swift Slashes, as well as just being a great tool, in general against this Hellborn team, especially with that Keeper route and whatnot. So, obviously, another great thing about Arachna, actually, just thinking of that, speaking of the Keeper of the Forest, you do have her Hardened Carapace, which will get her out of the Rotten Grasp when it is used on her. So, with that said, obviously a very effective tool here when it comes down to it against this Hellborn team. So, RpTm in the beginning here, they're going to be looking for a gank. They're going kind of Lion-esque. Lion's kind of known for doing this little bit of a nifty roam into the opposition jungle here to begin the game. It's not the obvious route going into the lane, kind of go more into the river area, but it looks like Justice League, they got some information, and they are quickly reacting to it. And as a result, you see they are already falling back. So, with that said, not going to be any action here as far as the beginning of this game goes. But look what RpTm's doing. Are they running that aggressive trial-in, actually? They're going to be sending a Luna Master of Arms top with the rally, it looks like. They got Magnus. He's going to be headed towards the mid. Arachna going to be going to the bottom lane, of course. You see Keeper actually able to get down the ward of sight very easily, and now here comes the creep pull. But interesting, RpTm, I don't know if they're going to stick to this by any means, but they are going to at least try for a bloodlust kill. Very aggressive ward of sight placed off the bat here by the Legion side. And they're going to look to get the early kill. Now, if you're DCX here, obviously you only spot Magnus mid so far. You haven't seen either Master of Arms or Luna, so no doubt there's some information. There's the Luna Power Thought going out. No follow-up, though. Ooh, they, if anything, they were hoping she was a little bit more pushed up, but not the best execution right there coming out from RpTm. And now, obviously, DCX is very aware what's going on. Now, they haven't seen Master of Arms just yet, so they're not 100% sure on that by any means. But, something I wouldn't be surprised if they have that hindsight that there's a good possibility, again, especially with Magnus still being solo here in the middle lane. So it's going to end up being a Fade versus Magnus as Pyromancer's already rotating to what they expect to outright be an aggressive trial in here. And that's obviously going to be the correct call coming out by Justice League. So smart play by them. Now, as far as this trial lane versus trial lane is concerned, I mean, this is no doubt a very deadly trial lane makeup here from RpTm, and I would think you'd have to give them the advantage. Just having Rally in a trial lane setup is just a very, very powerful tool, both offensively and defensively, being able to compel your teammates. Again, in that aggressive or defensive matter. So, obviously, with Swiftblade, you have that spin effect, and speaking of that, they're going to use it aggressively right here. Rally in some trouble. He's going to be able to compel away in time, but holy crap. He took a lot of damage right there, so Justice League making a strong point that they're not going to let them get too aggressive against them. They're going to be the aggressors and force them to use the regen. So that's definitely a smart move by DCX right there. And it actually nearly gets them a bloodlust kill, so good attempt coming out, but in the end, Rally going to be fine. We'll see how long this trial lane sticks. I mean, it looks like at this rate, both teams going to be pretty content, especially RpTm, on running this trial lane setup. Now, you know, but with that adjustment here by DCX, it's all going to be a matter of will they be able to pull it off. The lane control is in their favor. It is continuing to be in the Legion's team favor. So as long as they can keep it pushed up like that. Now, the pole camp is not blocked, but DCX, I assume they've spotted that by now, especially with the roaming Pyromancer. But for whatever reason, they're actually not stacking, looking to stack. Okay, yeah, Pyromancer is going to be going over there now. And he is going to stack it for that 3-minute mark. So Tilla going to go ahead and take care of that. But obviously the downside of that is, well, no, he's not even going to stack it, actually. He's just going to do a straight-up pull here at that 250 mark. So meanwhile, top lane, Swiftblade actually going to get a jump right here. He does have a spin, but it doesn't matter. He goes down right there. Panty snipes him out with the power throw. And now Andromeda trying to make it out of there. She is going to be fine. 4 lightning hits. Comet stun on a Master of Arms. The power throw connects, but just not enough damage. I think the health potion was ticking a little bit right there. Barely saves Andromeda. Now, you do got to question Swiftblade. Swiftblade choosing not to use that spin right there. Again, a lot was already used, so maybe he figured that it wouldn't really done anything. But obviously the power throw, that would have been mitigated by the unless like completely, yeah, of course it would have been mitigated by the spin. So if Swiftblade was spinning right there, he would not have got bloodlusted. Meanwhile, they're trying to catch a Luna now. Dragonfire, the Comet on it. I don't know if the Dragonfire actually hit though. Phoenix Wave going to be coming out. Swiftblade trying to chase, but the Luna stun and he cannot get in range, especially with no boots just yet on Swiftblade. So this aggressive trial lane is paying off here for RpTm. And again, you also look back at the choice to pull here by DCX without going for the stack. Not necessarily doing the most effective in terms of actually pulling back the creep wave. So kind of some questionable decision-making coming out there from Justice League. And now here you see, oh, Faye might be in some trouble. Storyfooter thought about going for the room, but Magma's going to stun, and he has that double damage right here. You see Luna's coming in, has a power throw. Not going to be enough for the kill even if he casts it. So Panty decides to save his mana and fall back. So yeah, they're roaming over, but clearly this ward of sight placed by Tilla gave all the information Storyfooter needed to realize that it would have been a very wrong decision to head towards that top area. So he does decide to fall back, and it ultimately saves him his life. How are the other lanes going, by the way? Speaking of that, oh my god, Arachna! Arachna, am I going to kill right here? No, he's not going to dive further. He can't. Sequence just didn't want to risk it. Oh, but the dot damage gets the job done. Holy crap. That dot's a lot more powerful than I gave it credit for. Rally in the meantime, top lane. He compels Aluna away. Aluna's going to be fine right there. Master of Arms, though. Oh, that was the Master of Arms, excuse me. He's the one that ends up falling. Got a little bit disoriented there. Anyways, Master of Arms does fall. So, once again, it looks like DCX, they're continuing to play that aggressive mindset, and this time it does actually get them a kill in the process. But, yeah, how about that dive? That was without the Spider Sting as well against Keeper of the Forest. He just barely did not have enough mana for that Nature's Veil, if anything, for the region at that point. And he goes down. So, yeah, that dot damage at level 3, we're looking at 12 magic damage per second. And it applies for 3 seconds, so not the most damage by any means, but it was just barely enough to tick down Keeper of the Forest right there for that kill in Arachna's favor. But again, breaking down how are the other lanes doing right here, as far as their makeups are concerned. You got Arachna is currently 19-2, 260 gold per minute against the Keeper, who's 15-4. And in the meantime, you have the middle lane. You got Magmus at 22-7 compared to a 27-10 Fade. So, you know, Fade is definitely winning that middle matchup. Arachna not doing the best at the bottom lane, honestly. A little bit surprised by that. And, you know, I'm sure that has a lot to do with just Keeper having that good lane control with the pulling the creep wave. He's going to try to set up a gank in the middle lane, it looks like, as he is going to go for a root here lockdown onto Magmus. You see Fade's going to be coming in with his Invis. And actually, they're going to be in trouble right here. No, he misses right there with the Burning Shadows. Magmus able to stun. Definitely a misplay from Storyfooter. Definitely a misplay from Storyfooter. He thought he had the Burning Shadows, and now he's going to be in trouble. The power throw just out of range. So he will live. It's not going to cost him his life in the end, but that was no doubt a missed kill opportunity by the Hellborn team, by Justice League. So, yeah, unfortunate right there. And Justice League playing a little bit off so far here this early on game. Meanwhile, top lane, Powerman's just going to end up going down. They're doing the pull right here, and now Andromeda might be in some trouble. Swiftblade is here. He has a spin. He has the stats on top of that. He's been leveling up level 2 stats here. He's not going to use the spin just yet. Keeper of the Force is porting in, and RpTm's actually going to start running away. You have Rally. He just compels easily away, though, from the spin. And that should be the end of that. Master and Luna, they're just out of range for any collapse right here. And, yeah, they are going to be fine. Is it rape time? I know. I've just always thought it was RpTm, but it might be rape time as well. I guess maybe I'll actually confirm that after this game, but that is a good point. Anyways, the Legion team, they do get away before too much happens. Meanwhile, they're trying to collapse you on the middle lane now. Fade in some trouble. Nope, but Magma's not going to be able to stun again. And Fade will be able to get away before he is going to be caught out right there. So bottom lane, though, Arachna's had a little bit of free farm time. I mean, Keeper of the Forest has been doing a bit of roam here. Ported to the top lane, didn't get anything. Came to the middle lane, nothing. And now making its way finally back to the bottom lane. But Arachna, again, a lot of free farm opening. But that goes back to what I was just saying earlier, that Arachna's farm hasn't been the most impressive. I mean, now is jumping up slightly, upwards of 300 gold per minute, but hasn't been the most impressive again, though. This is not a flash farming hero by any means. When it comes down to progressing compared to other carries, especially with her skill set, it just really doesn't give her that ability. But she does have her Steam Boots now. She's got a Mystic Vestments on top of that, so getting the early items. And actually going to use the Spider Sting right here pretty aggressively. Has players collapsing. Keeper of the Force trying to kill the Spider. It will be killed, and that will allow him to survive. Very smart heads-up play there by Zane. He figured that there was probably going to be at least one more coming, if not 3 more coming in that case. And so he figured his best chance was to kill the Spider before they got there, and he did exactly that. Very, very smart heads-up play by Zane, preventing the kill from happening on him. So meanwhile, Magnus finds a friend into Fade, but he is not going to make much else happen as far as that is concerned. So we do see the bottom lane right here. We got the towers at 195 life currently, actually, so that's very, very low. It's going to be killed. It's just a matter of will it be denied or not. Swiftblade is here, has a Steam Boost. He's going to go for the night. No, the opponent put it in the last second. Root's going to come out right here. There's the hard and carry pace. Takes the Burning Shadows on. Swift Slash is used. Down goes the Luna. Arachna's taking the damage. Not going to be enough. She gets the tower kill, but it does cost her life, and Master of Arms also falls. That's a 3-for-0 exchange. So, if that invulnerability didn't go off, he probably would have denied the tower, so that's the one downside there for DCX. But, hey, you got a hat trick on Imba Boy playing the Swiftblade, and a 3-for-0 exchange. Ultimately, you're pretty happy, even though the Legion team got the tower kill right there. So a slight misplay again by Justice League, but in the end, they got to be feeling pretty happy. That's the power of the root right there. You saw Arachna. She did harden carapace right away out of the keeper route, but got actually immediately stunned right after by the Burning Shadows, I believe it was, from Fade. So she was continuing to be locked down. And at that point, I don't think she even had her Spider Sting. She might have. It's a short cooldown, so. But anyways, wasn't able to get it off. Fade in the meantime, middle lane. The Magnus Eruption, not enough for the kill. The Steam Bath even comes out, but still not enough damage. And Fade will walk away as if nothing even happened. That's got to be really frustrating if you are this Legion team right here when it comes down to it. So definitely a very, very frustrating moment. And we do see Fade surviving, and she's actually going to make her way back to base, of course. Use those bottle charges, but yeah, very good start here for Justice League as far as it's now picking up. I mean, Swiftblade looking at 300 plus gold per minute, but actually, I mean, the GPM charts not overwhelming in either side by any means here. When you do look at it, we do see Rally is going to run into Swiftblade. He compels away, though, before much else happens. Demoralizing Roar to slow him down. No Swift Slashes just yet. And actually, will be fine. Middle lane, meanwhile, there's a bit of action picking up. Pyromancer goes down. Being played by Tilla. Biver gets credit for that kill, so they collapse onto him and take him out. So we're looking at 4-4 hero kills here, as far as this game is concerned. Definitely been a pretty action-packed so far. Arachna's actually going to be roaming over. You see she's working towards finishing that Soul Scream ring and eventually the Energizer, just like Swiftblade it looks like, when it comes down to it. Rally, how are you trying to hide her here? Rally, again, his farm was starting to jump up a little bit. He was actually picking up some free farm while at the top lane while they were occupied elsewhere. That being Justice League, of course. He actually finds Fade. He actually uses the Seismic Slam, doing plenty of damage. Fade misses the Burning Shadows. Dragon Person, but not going to be enough. Magma stuns it out of nowhere. Gets the 1 kill, and now Pyromancer also going to be falling as Arachna comes roaming in with those web shots. She still has her Spider Sting, actually. So both Switchblade and Andromeda need to be careful right here. Keep it the force, though. He's going to go balls to the wall. Oh, he fakes the root, actually. He thought about using it right there, but again, the hardened carapace makes it difficult to use against Arachna, knowing that she could just get right out of it. So he chooses to save it. Probably the better decision, as I don't think that would have been a guaranteed kill by any means. And instead they'll fall back, so our Legion team, as I'm just going to call them here, because apparently there's a lot of debate going on as how the hell you actually pronounce their name. Again, I'll confirm from them after, guys. It's kind of silly to just go back and forth and chat about it. I'll just confirm after and make sure what they say it is, and we'll go from there. It's okay, guys. Okay. Anyways, we do see the middle push happening here by the Legion side. And actually, this is another good point. The Arachna, you see the aura kind of popping up here below his teammates and himself with that precision. They do have a couple of ranged heroes to take advantage of, and the Luna and Master Ron's mainly support style heroes in this game, sure, but still can take advantage of it. Magnus, wow. He just got collapsed on right there. Burning Shadows to help take him out. Arachna just says, see ya. As she's going to the bottom lane, that's why Keeper of the Forest going to go for the TP. Hardened Carapace out of the root, but Keeper of the Forest is not going to be stunned. He will be fine. Meanwhile, back to the middle lane. They also get the kill onto Master of Arms. So a 2-for-0 exchange right there for Justice League, and they tie it once again at 6 hero kills. So yeah, both teams, again, this is not the A+ game by any means by either side. Being the round of 16 here for Cycle number 5, getting things kicked off once again for a new cycle. So maybe shaking off the rust a little bit here, but both teams, playing a little bit back and forth, and, well, it's hard to call it, who has a true advantage at this point. You do see Justice League. They're going to try to apply some pressure to the middle lane, but here comes a collapse from our Legion side. The initiation on a fade. That Seismic Slime connects. Burning Shadows is going to hit, but she is going to end up falling shortly after. Switchblade going to going to spin away before he gets caught. And Blazing Strike to take out Magnus. Oh, the bottle charges just enough to keep him alive, as well as the haste. And Switchblade says, I cannot do much else. He has the Swift Slashes, but he only has 75 life, so he is not going back in. And the counter from the Legion team does work out. Did they deny the tower? Yes, they did. Sequence also able to deny the tower on that Arachna. So that worked out much better here by the Legion team. And now we see Arachna at the bottom lane. Keeper of the Forces here. No root anyways, but again, even with the root, the hardened carapace makes it not the most effective tool against him. Aluna's nearby, though. She is only at half life, so she needs to be a little bit careful. But with just Keeper, might not be in the most danger. However, with Swiftblade assistance, this could be different. There's the opening on the Keeper of the Force, though, as Spider Sting comes out, but with Swiftblade running in, they're not gonna do much. Actually, we saw right there from Zane. Now, that's another great thing about being Keeper of the Force against an Arachna, is the fact that he can use his minions to help quickly kill the Spider Sting on himself. So, I mean, that spider that came out, it died pretty much immediately. That's just a good reaction coming out from Zane. So, as powerful as Arachna can be against Keeper because of the stealth detection, that's where Keeper could be good against her, being able to destroy the Spider Sting pretty efficiently by himself. So, kind of like a back-and-forth trade right there between the two. Switchblade going to go over to the triple stack Ancients, try to progress his farm. Imba Boy's kind of been bouncing up and down a little bit. He has an Energizer finished. Where are we going to see these carries go as far as their item build? It looks like Arachna, she has a Quick Blade. So I would assume that that is going to be the Firebrand. But again, the question is, where does she go from there? Does she go into maybe that Searing Light to get a little bit more of an effective farming tool ultimately? Or are we just going to see straight into that Geometer's Bane? Just another way to get out of the Keeper route. More bounces for that Swift Slashes to not be on herself. And just also a great tool in general for a hero like Arachna. So it's going to be an interesting question to be answered by Sequence. We'll see what she ends up going for. You see the tower here in the middle lane. Dropping. Andromeda, very short range. They are going to use some vulnerability, but she's going to be very risky deny attempt here. If St. Rocks does go for it. Actually, has another TP coming in, though. And RpTm decided to fall back, so not going to look to aggressively overpush it, but it is still out of deny range. Look at that. At 163, of course, it needs to be at 130. Bottom lane in the meantime, they do get the kill on the Keeper of the Force, and they deny the tower. Arachna's ultimate looks like it was used again. This time it does help set up the kill. Having some supporting cast and Rally and Master of Arms most certainly helps. Jarlungen here on Rally, 315 gold per minute. He gets the early Grave Locket to get some nice mana, as well as a Steam. It's also sitting now on 1,400 gold, so that possible portal key going to be coming out here in the near future for Rally. So it seems like nice item progression going along here for our Legion team. You see a portal key, speaking of that, picked up by Magnus. Granted, he's still sitting on Little Red Boots. He does have a bottle power supply, though, so has his way to regen. But obviously would like to get those boots upgraded on top of more stat items in general. And it's okay, so there's the Firebrand purchase. Again, that was pretty obvious. I didn't think it was going to go with no fire by any means. But again, it's where does Arachna go from here? As far as an item build, same thing for Swiftblade, obviously. Swiftblade decided to purchase actually a Mighty Blade here. So kind of wonder if he's going to be going for more of that, more of the Shrunken Head style of build here against this Legion team. And Shrunken Head, you know, always a solid option. Obviously, you do have the spin, kind of that free Shrunken Head in a sense. And especially since they made that change to it. But yeah, you do see how you cannot crit though when you are spinning anymore. So although you are taking out the 100% attack speed, it's and yeah, your damage is lower by 0%. So yeah, it's you do full damage while you're in the spin. It's just you cannot actually crit. So with your Way of the Sword ability, as it's called. Top lane, Arachna's actually in some trouble right here. There's the initiation. Arachna trying to get away. Going to use a Hardened Carapace Woman to get a lot of damage right here on top of the Demon of the Massive Call. Spider Sting going to come out. You see right there, it does slow through the spin. So now Swiftblade, he's in trouble. Magnus with a counter. Down goes Swiftblade, and Fade's going to have to run away. So did he have Swift Slashes? He did, didn't he? I mean, he chose to go aggressive with the spin right there instead of just maybe going for the Swift Slashes. I'd have to go back. I mean, saying it now, I mean, there was probably a creep wave there as well, so, you know, wouldn't have been guaranteed bounces on her necessarily other than the first one. But you know, chose to go over the spin route and got counted on. So Imba Boy falls right there, and Arachna's farm now upwards of 400 gold per minute. Middle lane, Andromeda really does not stand a chance right there.
It's a massacre!
As he gets jumped on between the Magnus Rally combination. So, but yeah, going back to the point about Swiftblade, obviously with the Shrunken Head choice, so Shrunken Head is still a solid option, no doubt. But I mean, again, even against a hero like Arachna, you're still going to be like the Spider Sting will still be able to slow you. Arachna's damage, obviously, a majority physical, so I don't know if that. There is a lot of stunts though here on the Legion side, so yeah, it is hard to say that it's not the good pickup here. But at the same time, you know, it's not the farming tool either for Swiftblade. And now, granted, this has been an aggressive game, and clearly this Legion team, you know, they are shaping up to that point of maybe they're going to start making those aggressive pushes now happen here, more so than they already been. So that's maybe the logic that they have Imba Boy coming from, but his farm progression isn't going to be, you know, the greatest. If you win for, you know, the Searing Light route, the Rune Cleaver, the whatever else. So choosing also an item like a Nullstone is not a horrible item against a hero like Arachna. She has no way to get rid of the Nullstone outside of her Spider Sting, of course. Now, granted, it has her teammates, and there are plenty of abilities to get rid of it. But plenty, actually, not a whole lot now that I'm looking at it. Oh, top lane. They catch the support Pyromancer, and well, you can do the math right there. Figured what happened. The portal can pick up on Jarlungen playing the Rally, gets the job done, basically. So, yeah, they do have a couple of other abilities as well to take out the Nullstone. Not saying that I would have liked to see Swiftblade go for the Nullstone, but again, could have been an option against a hero like Arachna. We do see middle lane Magnus get a Steam Bath and stun out. You see Swiftblade charging at Baltimore. Still a level 1 Swift Slash, but it will be enough to tear apart Master of Arms right there. He got all the bounces on him, and it gets the job done. Aluna's also going to be picked off, and they denied the tower on top of that. So Justice League, you know, it was only the supporting cast in the end, but still, they deny the tower on top of a couple support kills. They'll take it, especially for Swiftblade, who does hit that level 11 mark now. And I think he purchased something. I didn't notice exactly what it was, though. Again, I believe it is going to be that Shrunken Head here for Swiftblade. So, Tablet of Command just finished by Andromeda, actually. Middle lane, they're going to combo to Fade right here. Fade gets her Invis off, though. Do they have stealth detection? They do not. So, yeah, that's a risky move there by the Legion team to jump a hero like Fade without stealth detection. No dust or rev ward or anything. And she is able to get away for now. She has supporting cast. Magnus portal keys in, but Fade is playing it very smart right here. And she is going to be able to fall back. In fact, she's going to look to help set up some counters here. Rally finds Pyromancer in the meantime. That was a pretty risky move. He started to hold his guard. No, the Astral Light be able to swap in the last second. Pyromancer will live Now, in the middle lane, they do pick off Swift Play, so distraction is a success there for our Legion team. It was looking like DCX was just making some big plays, and ultimately making a turnaround, but no, in the end, our Legion side gets a kill onto Swiftblade with that distraction there, and they're feeling pretty good after that, and Geometer's Bane just finished by Arachna right there when it comes down to it. So this Legion team, we got a Legion team right here. They are looking pretty good as far as their progression is concerned in this game. And now with that Geometer's Bane Arachna, yeah, I mean, you would think for their sake, I mean, start putting, continue the aggressive push here. Maybe look for a Congo opportunity with as you get a bit of map control. I mean, the top lane, you still have that tower up, so probably start up there as far as getting the outer towers killed if you're this Legion side. But, oh, he does go the Icebrand route, actually. Interesting. Okay, so he goes the Icebrand route. So, yeah, not going to go the Shrug and going the Icebrand route, and that just kind of altogether is a little bit just funky, I think. I mean, they pick up Power Mats in the meantime. Nemesis. But for a couple reasons, it's kind of one of those, like, yeah, be sure, Dawnbringer, solid item, no doubt, as far as an item progression route. But going the Icebrand first, it's like you're not really giving yourself an effective farming tool. Your attack modifier, sure, having the slow is nice. We're trying to prevent kiting, but is that going to really be the best in the end? The damage output, not necessarily the best from it compared to something like that Firebrand, of course. And then, the benefit that it does have over the obvious Firebrand and the Lightbrand is the health impact. So that's where it is good for him. I mean, he's sitting at 1,400 life now. But I don't know if I like that choice. I'm kind of trying to think it over a little bit. But yeah, I don't know if I like that choice there by Boy. As far as that build, I probably would have rather seen him just go for more of that Firebrand, honestly, in the end. I mean, get that armor, a little bit of armor from it, but also to get you a little bit better of a farming tool to work with and try to recover in this game. But, putting the investment here into the Icebrand. And with that said, too, Mystic Vestments, yeah, probably not the most impactful in this game. I mean, you are dealing with a lot of more physical, so that's not really 100% necessary by any means. Here we go, though. Legion team, they are pushing bottom tower. The swap onto Arachna. She's going to be taking it. Gets the Geometer's Bane off. She needs to use her hardened carapace to get out of the ring. Mammoth's going to set up with the eruption. She's still locked down. She finally will get away. Meanwhile, burst out onto Luna, but the Legion team is running. They do get the tower kill, but at what cost? Master of Arms, the deep with the Master's Call is out. Fade looking for that chance. 1 second on the stun. He has it now. He's trying to line it up. He's just going to go straight for Arachna. There's the Burning Shadow. She cannot get the hardened carapace in time, and she does fall. Fork landing from behind. Master of Arms going very ballsy right here. Magnus will stun an important key away. I do not know what this Legion team is doing. They're not buying back, so they're playing very, very ballsy right here. They do get a pick at the end, but the rest will fall back before much else happens. So good hold there by Justice League. Now, tower was killed by the Legion team once again, so that's where, that's where they do kind of come out on top there, but obviously the 2 hero kills, especially on that Arachna, you got to say Justice League is probably ultimately the favorite, or the coming out of that fight feeling a little bit better, but by no means do they feel like they have a lead now or anything like that, as I would still think it's safe to say our Legion side still feeling pretty good about their chances. With that Geometer's Bane purchased by Arachna, now you see where she's going next, but also thinking about the last fight, I mean, we saw, if they get the initiation on her, I mean, she got just stun locked down pretty much that whole time, so you gotta think maybe the idea of a shrunken head here isn't out of the question for Arachna when it comes down to her item progression here. Just even yet another tool to get out of her root, and, well, yeah, there's the Mighty Blade, but also just prevent the lockdown as we saw that fight by this Hellborn team between Andromeda, Fade, Pyromancer, and whatnot. So, yeah, like that choice there coming out by Arachna. So we'll see how that works for him. Firebrand is, or Frostbrand, excuse me. Firebrand and, well, the Frostbrand finished by Boy here. So, yeah, it is going to eventually be that Dawnbringer. Going to be, most likely, of course, finishing that Lightbrand last. Again, though, it is a little bit, at the same time, it did give it an extra life, and, with the way this game has progressed, it just so happens that, it has worked out for him. So, the eventual Dawnbringer is going to be a big, big pickup for Swiftblade. And that does go back to the idea with the spin, the levels 4 spin especially, how it basically is a free shrunken head in that sense for Swiftblade when it comes down to it. Now, we do see Arachna, actually, the Spider Sting comes out on the Keeper. He's not using the minions to kill the Spider this time, and he will end up falling. So, I mean, we've seen it before, and that was a good use of the offensive Master's Call on Arachna to make sure she was able to burst down Keeper the Force right there with those auto attacks. But Yeah, choosing not to use a tree. A little bit of missed micro there from Zane. I don't know if it would have been enough even in the end if he got the spider killed, but the TP choice, trying to just tank the damage, was not, obviously was not enough for him. So good catch coming out from Sequence right there, who's now progressed up to about 450 gold per minute now. Yeah, to clarify, the Q on Arachna, the web shot does not cancel a null stone. So yeah, that obviously that would be silly to get a null stone then against a hero like Arachna if that was the case. But yeah, definitely does not cancel a null stone. That's why it is considered a decent item against her. Anyways, Pyromancer does get picked off
Takes down a Hellborn tower.
as he finds himself in the jungle with really not many. It seems like the supporting cast was kind of there, but Pyromancer was one of the front lines. If anything, he was basically playing that bait, the sacrificial lamb, as I say. Was Tilla just kind of gets that information. I mean, he only has 20 more seconds, so not the biggest deal. Double damage on Arachna, and they are still pushing this top lane. They're going to go for the secondary tower. So Pyromancer up in another 10 seconds. Cooldowns are ready here for, well, for both teams in that sense. So we'll see if DCX finds an opportunity. I don't even know about actually defending this or not. I mean, they are going to try for it. I mean, they're not counter-pushing anyways. The bottom lane is being pushed by the creep elbow. Here we go. Look at Fate. She's sitting on a rev ward, though. She's still in the trees. There's an initiation onto Arachna. She's going to jet away without a carapace. There's the root coming out, though. Arachna's just standing there doing nothing. She's still on the run. She gets compelled away, but the initiation by the Hellborn team, full force right there. Hat trick coming out for Swiftblade. And now Sequence, the only one alive, has no more cooldowns left, basically. Doesn't even have mana for that spider sting. They are going to catch her, and that is going to be a genocide in favor of Justice League. I don't know, man. That was just a complete misplay there. In several cases. The one obvious that I noticed was Arachna. The panic by Arachna right there. She Geometer's Bane and Hardened Carapace basically at the same exact time, and that gave the opening for Keeper of the Forest to get that free 3-second root on her. And while that was happening, I mean, they just pounded it damage. They killed her supporting cast for that matter. And on top of that, she wasn't even able to get off her spider sting on anyone. But that was also just beautiful initiation by DCX. Not take anything away from them. They got the jump. They found it, obviously. Fade, she was sitting right next to this rev ward. She was just enough in the tree, though, to not actually be spotted. I also don't like Magnus' positioning. Magnus was kind of a little bit farther up than he needed to be. With that said, I mean, he was very close to his team right there. Usually, he was in the back, sure, but usually you want your Magnus to be, you know, a portal key length away at least, as far as, you know, being able to counter-initiate in that case if your team does get jumped. So Magnus was able to do pretty much nothing. Arachna did nothing. I mean, Rally tried to compel Arachna away, we saw right there, but that wasn't even enough. So, yeah, clearly our Legion team was just completely caught off guard right there. And the Justice League, their initiation, well, it paid off. Oh, there you go. Swiftblade actually purchasing the Geometer's Bane here. So he's not going to be going full Dawnbringer in the end. He actually is going to be splitting that up. He's going to pick up the Geometer's Bane, and he's going to sit on that Ice Brand now. We'll probably turn that into a Frosted Skull at this rate, which, again, definitely not a bad option by any means here from Swiftblade. So, yeah, wants that Geometer's Bane. Just to be able to have that split presence with the push power as well as dispelling debuffs and whatnot. So we'll see if that pays off for him. Instead of going something like that Dawnbringer here against that Legion side, Fade's actually looking for a chance right here. You can tell Justice League, the tides have turned a little bit. They're now the ones being a little bit more aggressive now as far as this game progressing here. And again, looking for those opportunities as we are now 30 minutes into this game here. We got Keeper of the Forest. He's actually finishing off the last of the Ancients here with the trees, and he will accomplish that. So well played by Zane. Managing to steal some resources from the Legion side. So, but yeah, the Geometer's Bane choice. I wonder now if he's, you figure with his item progression. I mean, he's still also sitting on that Ring of the Teacher. Something like an Abyssal Skull would not be the worst thing ever by any means. It's just a pretty physical heavy team here on the Legion side once again, and just having that lifesteal presence on him would definitely be a solid option here. So honestly, I think I would rather see that finish before, you know, the progression towards a Frosted Skull here, and just help his farming presence too in this game. He's basically been doing this game with you know, minimal farming presence, not your typical, you know, going hard carry Swiftblade with the Rune Cleaver, or, you know, straight into the Firebrand to just you know, farming with it. So he went that Ice Brand first. Eventually, it's now made a Geometer's Bane, of course, but Yeah, I think the Abyssal Skull might actually be the better choice here, at least for the immediate future for Swift Play. But we'll see what Boy decides to go here in the end. As far as that is concerned, Shrunken Head is finished on Arachna. Talking about that and what that's going to be able to do. So now she even has a third way to get out of that one route here for Keeper the Forest. Again, we saw that last fight. She really panicked. She used both the Geometer's Bane and the Hardened Carapace before the route even came out. You know, you can kind of understand because obviously the Hardened Carapace, you're looking at 32 magic armor for 5 seconds, and you got heroes like Pyromancer, like Fade, who are just not. But yeah, that's not enough. You need to save the Hardened Carapace to dispel the route, or vice versa. I mean, you can't use them both right there before the route even comes out. But at this right now, she does have even that third option, and the Shrunken Head will be great to prevent the lockdown here from the Hellborn side. Middle lane, Magma stunts in, but he's stunned into a death trap. Ay. Swift slashes were even used for their Andromeda. Even swapping at the last. I don't even know what. Oh, they got. Wow. I don't know why I didn't see that. Rally was also caught out right there. I am so blind. I am so blind. I was so focused on the Magnus, so that's why they jumped in, because Magnus was with Rally, but they both get countered on. And now we're looking at a 5 versus 3 push. They do not have buybacks. That could, I mean, that's going to definitely could be a lead booster here for DCX, if anything. Even I mean, they're going to take out the top tower. They're most likely going to kill this middle tower, maybe. I mean, I would think they would. Yeah, you see Swiftblade is going to come spin on the lane. I mean, now with another kill right there onto a Luna, so no buybacks to be had. It's a 2 versus 5. They catch Arachna right there. And I have a little bit of a hiccup. My apology. Should be good, though. Arachna, though, going for the counter now. She gets the Shrunken Head off. She's putting the deeps in to Keeper the Forest. Should not push up too far, though, if you're Arachna, as you see. She's going to start to fall back before she does get countered on. So the middle tower is actually going to be fine at the end. In fact, they're going to chase now. Energizer popped right there. TPs are happening for the Hellborn side. Pyromancer being sneaky. You see Andromeda also just out of range right there with the tablet. And she, too, is going to be fine. So, in the end, no counter kills happening for our Legion's side. Again, they do prevent the middle tower kill at least, but they lost a lot right there. A lot of resource advantage in general. And after that especially, you're looking at nearly a 10,000 experience lead now in favor of the Hellborn team. And in fact, look at those XPM chart. I mean, Arachna is dominating at nearly 600 XPM here for Sequence, and he's level 19, so that's showing. But as a team goes, I mean, you got Swiftblade, Keeper, and Fade all doing pretty damn good. You got your secondary support, Andromeda, also up there. As a team, it's just looking much better here, obviously, for DCX. And the gold is practically identical. When you look at the game, especially now, 34.5 minutes in. So definitely a misplay there from our Legion side, and Justice League makes them pay. As far as the counter initiation, Swiftblade bought something. What did he buy? Oh, he gets the Shrunken Head. Look at that. I was like, for some reason I thought he had that from earlier because that's what I thought he was going to be, but nope, he gets it here, and so he has a Shrunken Head now himself on top of that. So yeah, he's definitely getting bulked up here. Still going to be sitting on that Ice Brand. Yeah, it really makes you look at it, though. Like, again, looking back at that, I know it's kind of beating a dead horse to an extent, but imagine if that Ice Brand was a Light Brand instead. I mean, how much more farm he would have as a result of that. Yeah, again, in hindsight, it's like, yes, he would be a little bit less tankier, and maybe that could have been the difference for after he had that Ice Brand and was progressing towards his next tier of items. But if he had the Light Brand and then he built into that Geometer's Bane, you know, his farming effectiveness may be a little bit higher. Still be a little less tanky, sure, but maybe even could have finished a Frozen Light on top of that eventually at this point, and then, you know, maybe, again, exchange that Ring of the Teacher for a full Abyssal Skull or even something else. But anyways, hindsight's 2020. He's going to go back to the Ancients right here and continue that farm, but the gank squad here for the Legion, all 5 of them being the gank squad. Fade's going to be jumped right here. The swap from Andromeda, though, they're pretty much expecting that rally jump to the back where they will kill Andromeda. The Seismic Stab, Fade's still going to barely live. The Sweat Slash is tearing up Master of Arms. Deep in the Master's Call does not save him, but now it is over. Arachna going to stand his ground, then quickly burst down. And Luna, though, there's the root coming out. Hardened Carapace going to be used by Arachna. Magnus stunts out with a bigger rush, but the Shrunken Head on Swiftblade, mitigating most, if not all, of that damage right there. And he is still going both the wall. Arachna trying to live, not going to happen. Down goes Swiftblade, though. So make that 1-for-1. Neither one of them are buying back, even though both can at this point. But it looks like our Legion side is the one that comes out on top as far as that overall exchange goes. No buybacks used at all during that whole fight sequence. And it ends up being a 2 versus 2. You see Keeper the Forest, he's just trying to live at this point. And that will be the case. So Man, that Magnus eruption, you know, he made the misplay earlier as far as his positioning, perhaps, but we do see him make a big initiation right there happen. Counter initiation, that is, with his eruption, as well as a lava surge. So if it wasn't for that, that could have gone well in favor of DCX. So good timing from him, and they're going to continue to try to push this middle lane. I mean, they know the root's on cooldown. You see Keeper's working towards the rest. Okay, he buys the Arcana. He's still just shy, though, of the pattern. So he will not have a root just yet. They have everything else. No, they don't. Swift Slashes are also going to be down. In fact, Swiftblade is still down for 17 more seconds. So if you're the Cellborn team, this is a risky decision here to set up a defense. But, oh, look at the Legion team. They're kind of being collapsed on Fade's spot. And then Burning Shadows. No, we missed actually initiation from Rally. Burning Shadows misses once again. Lava Surge comes out. See the Dragonfire's on. Big red stuff from Aluna. Can they capitalize? 4 seconds on Fade. The Sheepstick comes out from Magnus. Parmans is trying to live. Shrunken Head going to be used on Rally. And Arachna now just resurrects, but so did Swiftblade. And he's able to get here a lot quicker. And now the chase is on by the Hellborn team. And, yeah, our Legion's side, they might have overstepped their boundaries right here. Swiftblade jumping in. Swift Slash is going to be up in 1 second. Deja Vu. Juke from Aluna. The red stun going to come out. Arachna's running in the eruption channel from Magnus. Oh, it goes in, but the invulnerability from the Swift Slashes. 0 damage from the eruption coming out in the background, though. Here is Arachna. She's going to take out Fade right there with her ultimate and the Geometer's Bane. Now she's going for Pyromancer. So it's carry for carry, kind of picking out the supporting cast. They only lost Aluna, though, on the Legion side so far. So definitely favor the Hellborn Seismic Stem on a Swiftblade. Rally's going to end up falling. The root comes out. It does not catch Arachna, though. The real one's down here. Now she's on the run. She has a Heart of Care, but she has Energizer. She's not using them. There we go. She finally uses them. She's on the run. Magnus has a stun. She's going to use the SES. Shrunken out on Swiftblade, though, preventing that from being effective. And there's a jump from Fade. And Arachna will fall. So, again, Sequence finally be able to get in there after the resurrection. Got a couple kills, but DCX was patient enough. They made it work. There was a buyback on Story Flutter, which most certainly helped right there, coming out by Fade. And now DCX is going to start pushing full force right here. Arachna is sitting on 3,800 gold. That's also a little bit of a head scratcher right there. I mean, so she is going to be able to buy back here at least. That's a lot of gold pulled up here at this point, when you still need at least one, if not even 2 more items on you. She's not actually buying back just yet. I mean, they're going to wait and see if they can fight them off, and they are actually. So Justice League is going to fall back without an Arachna buyback. I mean, they probably even know that Eruption's still on cooldown from Magnus. But
no goodies for you.
yeah, they're also not feeling the best as far as their cooldown situation, I guess. Instead, they want to clean up the resources and fall back. And that'll allow Arachna to just safely resurrect. But yeah, if you're Arachna here, I'm definitely intrigued to see what item she goes for. Something like, well, just, I think more damage. Even something like the Assassin Shroud into Genjuro here could be a very sound option for Arachna. Wingbow, actually. Now I'm really thinking about it. Wingbow, also another pretty awesome option here. The idea of a Savage Mace is probably not going to be happening anytime soon from Swiftblade. What is he going to buy here, by the way? He's sitting on 3,600 gold. There's the Assassin Shroud, and there's... Ooh, okay. There's a Soul's Bork. Okay, yeah, wow, they didn't even have a Soul's Bork. That's actually a really good point. Holy crap. Neither team has a Soul's Bork. In fact, this Legion team arguably needs it more than the Hellborn side. I mean, Swiftblade with the Andromeda. But I guess actually, well, both teams. A good amount of physical damage coming out from both teams. So yeah, it's good that they finally got that on their side. Keeper, you know, just finishing his Restostone, of course. But yeah, this Legion team not getting it just yet. That's definitely hurting them. You know, something like that Rally deciding to go the full Shrunken Head first, or even Master of Arms. Might not have been bad to get it on him, but Ring of Teachers for that matter. Is there any on the Legion side at this point? No, there's not. There's none on the Hellborn side either. So yeah, there's definitely some supporting items missing here on both sides. Is there Ring of the Teacher? No. Yeah, I don't see one on either side. Granted, that not even that Abyssal Skull choice. So some item pickups that could be worth getting here for either side. See if it eventually comes out or not, but for now, not going to be the case. Swiftblade sitting with that Soul's Bulwark on the defense. Wants to be able to mitigate the damage here. Yeah, I can see where he's coming from, especially if he's going to be in those front lines. Fades, looking for that opportunity. They do have a bound die. Master Rounds are going to jump on to Magnus. Magnus Swift Slashes. full bounce on him, and finally stuns away. It's going to be fun in the end. And now Raleigh's on the run as well. Here we go. Cuban Root coming out. Only hits Raleigh, though, but he has a second root. He's going to look to use that. Magma stuns him with the eruption. Oh, he didn't stun, though. It wasn't on cooldown still. He got the eruption off, though. So some good damage. Shrugganet's going off all over the place, though. Where's Arachne Renola? She's in the front guy. She will pick off Swiftblade in the end. And then Assassin Shot coming into play, I'm sure. And now she's chasing Fade, but she is in trouble. She's the only one alive. Magma spies back. Can he get here in time? She gets another kill before. The Assassin Shroud not going to be enough, though. Magnus is here, but not going to be able to stun in. Although, oh man, Pyromancer and Fade, they're so low. That could be a double tap right there if he got the perfect stun, but, you know, he just can't find it. He's going to kind of just run up right here. Pyromancer is invis, of course, so he's not going to be able to find him without any vision, and now he might be in some trouble himself as Fade's running back in, but no, I don't think he's going to hang around long enough for it to matter. So, yeah, the second route definitely, I'm sure, caught them off guard as well. Seemed like Arachne was really pushed up there as far as her positioning. Now, they did pick off Swiftblade fairly early, but again, we saw the supporting cast able to come through here from Justice League. Between Pyromancer and Fade and Andromeda even, able to do enough damage to eventually drop them in the end of that fight. So, once again, another one fight here for Justice League. And here we are coming up to 43 minutes. The lead now growing bigger and better. Oh, well, that happened. Power throw snipe from Pandy coming out. Was able to connect onto Story Fighter. So, yeah, he was still working his way back to base. Obviously, figuring that was coming, but finally does, and well, it picks him off. Imba Boy purchases the Warp Cleft. He's not able to pick. Okay, yeah, he is going to get rid of that and just pick it up here. I was going to say, I don't know about him purchasing it if he's not even going to use it on himself just yet. But yeah, he does have it now, so that full demonic breastplate is going to be coming out here. And yeah, that's definitely a solid item choice for him. Again, no Souls Bulwark here on this Legion side, though. I still think that that's an option that, and you know, Magnus is at the point where I would probably like to see it to him, and he already has a sheepstick on top of the portal key. I mean, he's good in that sense. Just getting a Souls Bulwark on this Legion team feels like it's pretty damn important, but they've not done that just yet. They are going to try for a Kongor steal right here, but they were spotted, of course, by the Geometer Bane Illusion. Speaking of that, Arachne doing the same with their own. Keeper minions coming in here, kind of blocking them out from outright initiating. Look at Andromeda, by the way. St. Rocks. He's sitting on 2,300 gold as a Blessed Orb. He's going to be building a sheepstick at this rate with that tablet he already has finished. And he's level 17, so he's maxed out with his abilities going stats now. And you know, that's the one thing about Andromeda. We talk about, I like to talk about at least her skill set's just great all the way into the late game stage, but it's just great through the whole game. But it's just a matter of also getting all 4 levels and all those abilities. Is, you know, it's like give and take from game to game, depending on how it's going, of course. But this game, level 17, so she has everything. Has the Orb at level 4 on top of the Comet and the Aurora, and the Swap level 3, which is just awesome. I mean, that's what, 1,200 range? Yeah, pretty damn good. I think the Demonic was just finished on Swiftblade. Not mistaken. Yep, that's going to be delivered out to him. So his armor going to really bulk up here, and again, his attack speed also going to be pretty damn nice on top of that. So Arachne sitting on another 2,600 gold. She is more than likely going to finish that Genjiro, of course. But not able to get it just yet. But then there's also the case. Do you get it right away, or do you want to save for that buyback at least? It's a tough call at this point. It really is. They are still trying to sneak for that Kongor kill, but this Ward Aside here from Tilla that was actually just recently placed is giving them all the information they need. So they know exactly what's going on here as far as that's concerned. And there is the Dancing Blade purchase. So we're going into that Genjiro. No buyback going to be had in Arachne. We'll see if DCX figures that if they do engage here. I'm seeing this goal being built up here on heroes like Magnus and Rally and still seeing no Souls Bulwark. It's just making me like, ugh, guys, come on. Souls Bulwark. It's good this game. Gonna want it. Also like Imba Boy still sitting on just that Ice Brand there. It's kind of just like a static item that's just kind of meh. Ooh, middle lane? Nope, that's just an illusion. His armor, though, 34.3 armor just by himself. Demonic breastplate, of course, you figure the nature's on top of that. Oh, Andromeda gets caught out. The Spider Sting is going to finish, but here comes the Swift Slashes. Good thing the support came in. The jump is being used as well, and now Swiftblade might be in some trouble. No, he's not. He's going to help take out the rally right there, and now he's chasing Arachne. Arachne's holding his ground, going auto attack 1 versus 1. It's not going to be enough, though. Swiftblade comes out on top of that fight, and that could be a very dangerous now for the Legion side. Again, there's no buyback on Arachne. However, they do finish out Swiftblade with the supporting cast. Master of Arms is going to end up being picked off. However, the root finally coming out. That's the first root for Keep the Force. That goes to show you how DCX was looked pretty good in that fight, even without Keep the Force being there with that root situation. So yeah, that got interesting with that battle between Swiftblade and Arachne. But in the end, Swiftblade does win it, even though he falls in the end to the supporting cast once again. You see Aluna, speaking of her, she is going to pour it out before too much else happens. So they're not going to be able to capitalize, as Swiftblade doesn't have a buyback either. So you do look at the big picture, and it's almost as if, well, we're kind of just back to square one, as if that never even happened to an extent. But still, DCX feeling pretty good about that one, I'm sure. The Genjiro is finished by Arachne, though. 4,400 gold on Keeper. Jeez. What's he going to be going for here? Maybe just a full Sheep Stick himself, even? I mean, they're already getting one on Andromeda. You see a Blessed Orb here on Fade. Let's see what Keeper decides to go for here. Puzzle Box. Wouldn't be a horrible option even at this point. So again, 48 minutes here. 48 minutes in now in what is game number 1. This Legion side here has definitely had their chances in this game, and they've been in the lead for bits and parts of it, for most of it earlier on, but Justice League has slowly but surely started to come back and eventually took the lead, and that's been progressing as well. So you see Swiftblade, his item progression is going to continue to get bigger and better. And yeah, actually, there's something I want to mention about him too, as we kind of saw a little bit that last fight, is that counterattack. I mean, it is known as a it is known as kind of just a tool like on this hero, where it's, you have some cases where they'll just get full stats before they even start leveling up the counterattack. Obviously, that wasn't the case here, but you know, in this matchup against a hero like Arachne, who's trying to sit back, pound auto attacks into him, well, I did see a couple of those ninja stars flying back from the counterattack, and that's some good damage, some good extra damage. So 30% damage to deal your attack damage to the attacking enemy hero. So that's just some nice extra damage that's, you know, RNG heavy, sure, but has a chance to be returned to a hero like Arachne. And I'm sure, especially in that 1v1 battle, most certainly that came into play when it came down to it, on top of the crits, of course. So, you know, Swiftblade is kind of that RNG heavy hero in that sense too, but never really thought about that, actually. You know, with the Swift Slashes, obviously that's a good amount of RNG to that. The counterattack, sure. And then the crit on top of that. So, yeah, really 3 of his 4 abilities are very kind of roll the dice heavy. But I think if you're Swiftblade here, you finally turn that Ice Brand into a Frost of Skull. And even on top of that, he still even has another item slot, and pending a token alive or whatnot. But Arachne with that Genjiro finish, she most certainly has at least 1 more item slot, arguably 2 if she wants to sell that Energizer, which definitely wouldn't be the worst thing. And at this rate, I'm honestly thinking, you know, getting a full Demonic herself actually wouldn't be the worst option coming out. She also doesn't have her attack modifier just yet, so even lifesteal, actually. Actually, yeah, Whispering Helmet is similar rage. Might not be a bad option here at all for Arachne. I think that would actually be a great option for her. But we'll see where Sequence goes. Again, he still has those 2 buybacks, sitting now on 2,200 gold. Sheepstick is finished on Andromeda. What did Keeper end up buying? Oh, Sheepstick, go figure. He bought an outright Sheepstick himself. And again, it looks like Fade might even be going one, so we're going to have 3 Sheepsticks possibly here on the Hellborn side. Jeez. There's a lot of lockdown. Of course, there are the Shrunken Heads here on both Arachne and Rally. Yeah, I assume Fade's going to be on that Sheepstick, so I think we talked about that the other day even on the cast, how the idea that way back in the past, item restrictions that were out where item like a sheep stick, you only get 2 on either side. And I was always a fan of saying, like, that's just silly. Never really liked that rule. So now we see here the possibility that we could have 3 sheep sticks here on D6 side. And again, that's a lot of lockdown now. Obviously with the shrunken heads, granted, those shrunken heads, they must be 5 seconds by now. Well, 7 seconds on Rally. Arachna, yeah, 5 seconds. So it's not the best amount of duration here for Arachna with that. And did Fate just finish that in full? I think she got the Acolyte Staff and the Mana Tube right there. So yeah, I think that 3rd sheep stick going to be coming in. Tilla most likely even going for something like that that Storm Spirit here with that Neophyte book he has picked up. So both teams at this point pretty content. Still no Souls Bulwark on this Legion side. I don't know how they can't see that. I just don't get that. I mean, not only are you dealing against a Keeper of the Forest, so you want to try to get through that armor with something like a Souls Bulwark will help, full the Demonic Breastplate even. But you have a Demonic Breastplate you're going up against in Swiftblade. He's all about that physical damage. You got Andromeda minus in your armor in the first place on top of that. Yeah, it just seems like that would be an obvious option choice. But, oh, middle lane, we have some action right here. Magnus actually getting caught out. Sheep stick number 1 coming out. He's going to avoid the follow-up, though. And he does get away, so caught that a little bit late right there. But for whatever reason, they were not able to follow up on top of that, on top of the initial sheep stick. So he's going to be fine as he falls back to base for now. As it looks like we're going to have a vote to pause coming out here from Justice League. But well, approaching 53 minutes in right now. Continuing to be very back and forth heavy here between these two teams. So while we are in this pause, just refreshing the brackets here real quickly, just taking a quick look at what other results look like. Looks like Lions and You Left a Party, they're still in game number 1. Team USA 1-0 over Insomniac so far. Obviously we got our series. Team Excellent versus Animosity, also in game number 1 still. Stay Green is 1-up over Call It Karma. You got Nice Price Pool and Happy 5 Friends in game 1. Too Much Sugar, 1-0 over Masked Muchachos. And Internet Gangsters, 1-0 over Team Kage. So, looking at those results, nothing out of the ordinary by any means. Again, some of those are still in game number 1, though. So, keep updated on that. Actually, let's just see if we got any information that we can get out here. Well, that looks like it's game 2 for those guys. So, Team Excellent, maybe. Let's see how that one's going. That's a pretty even game, actually. About 30 minutes in, it looks like, for that one. That's Team Excellent versus Animosity, as they're known by. That's a pretty even one, actually. So that could possibly be an upset in the making there in that series. Keep a close eye on that one. And a Nice Prize Pool versus Happy 5 Friends. Of course, Happy 5 Friends, a team that took a game off of Stay Green last cycle. You see it looks like a Nice Prize Pool is having a pretty solid time there in that first game. So yeah, just a couple updates there. Destroy Footer's just trying to get rid of some lag here on his side before we move on. What is game number 1? Again, we got a brand new weekend ahead of us here for HoN Tour Cycle number 2. Wow, cycle number 5, excuse me. Season number 2. Cycle number 5, that is. Obviously, again, last cycle. For whatever reason, if somehow you missed it, Lion Esports Club managing to pull off the come-from-behind victory over Stay Green in the grand finals. They were down 1-0 going into it as a result of coming from the losers bracket, and they managed to win 3 games in a row against Stay Green to take them out and become the Cycle 4 champions. So Stay Green, after winning the first 3 cycles, finally get knocked off their throne there to an extent. And I've always been an advocate, though, of saying even though it's great for Lions and that's feeling good, I'm sure, and deserving all the praise and whatnot, I still think in the end, going into Cycle 5, I personally still feel that Stay Green is still the team to beat. This again, as we were also talking about, that was their first tournament loss, their first major tournament loss that they've had, that they have not won, basically, for 7 months, since Sound Blaster Heroes League Season 1, which, go figure, they lost to Lion Esports Club in that one as well, so kind of a funny coincidence there. But, yeah, Stay Green is still the team to beat, and I would even think Lions would even have no problem saying that as well, as far as it comes down to that. So Yeah, it's going to be a fun cycle number 5 here to see how things follow up now to that great cycle 4. And again, with all the teams, looks like all the matches are getting played here in the first round, and that's always a good sign too. No forfeits happening. That's always good to see. We got teams like Masked Muchachos, Happy Five Friends, Team Kage, Insomniacs, Animosity, some a little bit lesser known teams, but have kind of been bouncing back and forth between that Gold and Diamond division, and every now and then getting those decent results. So who knows when one of them are going to kind of start to break through. I mean, we talked a lot about that from last season, speaking of Lions. So Lions at the beginning of the season, I mean, they were kind of one of those teams. They were one of those teams where it's like, yeah, sure, that seems like they have some potential, but we don't really know much about them. Who knows what they're going to do in the end? There's definitely other star-powered teams that we're a lot more focused on at the beginning of that season. But by the end of the season, Lion Esports Club was a top 4 team, made it to the grand finals, and finished 4th place overall, and earned a lot of respect as a result of that. And here we are in season 2, as because of that, even going in as one of their favorite teams.
All right, let's get it on.
2nd place overall at this point. So, all right, looks like we're good to go now. So enough about that. Story Flutter managing to make it back here. And move on with game number 2. 53 minutes in now. Okay, Swiftblade is critting for a good 500 plus damage, pretty frequently too. That's good to see for Justice League. Big numbers, and this is going to be a free Conquer kill. There's no vision here whatsoever from the Legion side. And now, did I just see a Souls Bulwark purchase? I think I did. Yeah, Rally does finally purchase a Souls Bulwark here.
Conquer goes down.
But yeah, Conquer is going to be picked off, and that's going to mean a token of life on Swiftblade. He's still sitting on that Ice Brand. He's sitting on 4,900 gold. Obviously, he has the 2 buybacks, so figuring it's not necessary to upgrade it just yet, unless you could buy it at full at this point from the Ice Brand, and still have at least 1 buyback. It doesn't make sense to buy it anyway, so I can see where he's coming from here. Wants to make sure he has the buyback, so he needs 4,000 gold on top of that buyback money. I did the math, right? 6,200, yeah, so 4,000 gold on top of the buyback money. So yeah, probably, or that, or he'll buy an Assassin Shroud. Okay, so the Ice Brand ultimately is going to be sold, I guess. Assassin Shroud not being delivered just yet, actually. It's still sitting in a stash even. Anyways, they're pushing the bottom lane. This is going to be a free tower kill, so that's the last outer tower to start. You see Luna, actually, a Luna-able hero. She's level 16 now. She's just counter-pushing the top lane, saying, I'll just take some nice farm up. Does she have a TP? She does not. Okay, she just used it, that's why. I take inventory for a second, I'm like, what are you thinking, Penny? No, he does actually guts back to base and actually just buys a straight Storm Spirit there. Not straight Storm Spirit, but finishes the Storm Spirit as the Hellborn team is starting to fall back. So Arachna, she buys a Snake Bracelet, so she's actually going to be going for the Wing Bow now on top of that. And again, I like that, but I don't know, I kind of feel the symbol of rage might have been the better route here against this Hellborn side. Being able to recover in these fights, especially after the initial burst comes out, seems pretty damn useful. Obviously, the evasion aspect against Swiftblade will be nice, but Magnus, this is not going to help. Magnus is going to be easily picked off. He does have his final buyback. Well, he just got simply caught out right there. Very little vision around. Genjiro in full is going to be finished now, and that is being delivered to Swiftblade. So yeah, he'll probably just end up selling that Ice Brand as soon as it's delivered to him and work with that. So they're going to push into the base somewhat here. Not really. Arachna's kind of trying to counter push. They do get the buyback on the Magnus, so that's what they're looking for. And they should definitely know now that he is out of buybacks, of course. So we'll see if they get that opportunity now. Take advantage of it. Arachna, though, counter pushing top lane, has that true strike as a result of level 4 aura. You do see the misses, but that's from the illusions. Yep. Will be denied. So, hey, towers kill him. They're happy with that. Killed in the end. So yeah, he did end up selling that Ice Brand after all that. And now he's a double damager, and holy crap. This is a very scary Swiftblade now. Looking at him here. So Arachna, she can definitely finish that Wing Bow here. Again, though, has those 2 buybacks. So same thing as we're just talking about with Swiftblade. Wants to make sure that she has enough for that. Swiftblade taking advantage of this double damage rune, and it's going to be on for 15 more seconds. I'm a little bit surprised he didn't get that, and they just didn't really start to push with that. I mean, token alive, the big double damage. Faith maybe should try to bottle it, but yeah, they don't have any right now and didn't want to purchase one. So they're not going to be able to use this double damage rune here for the ultimate push, but they are going to make their way up and put some good damage onto the tower. When does this Legion team jump? Again, the token of life on Swiftblade makes it difficult. Arachna, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I mean, this is one of those situations where she buys that wing bow. I find it hard to believe she does not have enough for buyback. 5,600 gold minus a 1,500, so 4,100 gold. Plus a 1,900. Yeah, she would actually be just shy of a buyback probably, so I guess, but I don't know. We do see us jumping a Swiftblade though. Storm Spear going to be coming out. Spider Sting going to be destroyed as a result. He's just going balls to the wall. He has that token, so he knows he's going to be fine. Oh, Arachna gets caught right here with a combination. Arachna's in trouble. She pushes away though, and now Swiftblade's figured he's diving. He's going to come up with the token of life in the background. Rally was trying to distract, but now Swiftblade comes back up, and down goes Rally. But yeah, we see Arachna going back to the well. She has to get some health right here. She buys the Dancing Blade. Actually, I assume she's finishing a full wing bow here, maybe just waiting for a certain goal point for whatever reason, but she definitely has enough for it. No, she's not going. She just, okay, she wanted to have the Dancing Blade on her instead of the evasion from the Snake Bracelet, so a bit more damage and armor. And the Hellborn team obviously got to be a little bit careful here. I mean, they don't want to go balls to the wall once again, especially now without the token. They still have the double root, though. Geometer's Bane is going to be on cooldown for another couple of seconds here for Arachna, but shouldn't be a big... Oh, that's a big pick on a Fade if they can get it. The follow-up, the Magma Stun just out of range. Nice Capel forward, or Talbot forward. He's going to be fine. Magma Sheepstick coming out the root in the background onto Aluna. That's the first root. Down goes Magnus. Aluna's going to be locked down. She falls. Magnus does not have buybacks, remember. He is all out of buybacks. Arachna in the front lines for whatever reason got caught up there. He's able to get away somehow as he gets support, but the racks are just going to start falling right here in favor of Justice League. And they're heading straight for the bottom lane now. So Arachna, she's gonna, yeah, she went, okay, she had to buy back. Okay, wow, she bought back right there. She is gonna try to lead the way here with her team to kind of get some kills. Nice initiation from Rally. Speaking of buybacks, gets the one kill on a Pyromancer. Will it be enough? They'll lock down on the Swiftblade. He's going to use that Ganjiro. He's coming back in. The big crit to open up right there. 446. Arachna's dropping. The damage is just too much. Arachna's not buying back after that. Was never able to finish the full wing bow right there. Oh, man. And this could be game here. DCX, they're going to push. The racks are also going to fall right here once again. You see Master Ross kind of trying to be a little bit of a threat, but he's not much. He is not much. So they clean up the 2 sets of racks, and there we go with the Concede Vote. GG well played. So that's going to do it for game number 1. Justice League will come out on top over Rape Time, whatever the hell you want to call them. So, but definitely a fun game. Now, again, both teams, no doubt. I mean, both teams had misplays, as we always say, as it kind of usually comes back to, but some misplays here, some questionable decision-making. I mean, I know it's pretty aggressive with Immaboy there as far as that Iceman, especially in the item choices. A little bit after that, but for the most part, finished off strong, made sense. I will say Arachna there at the end it's just very all over the place. From the decisions to not straight up just buy that full wing bow going to the last fight to kind of then not even having to use the buyback eventually and couldn't never even finish it to the choice to go that over the Whispering Helm into the Symbol of Rage. I really feel like that at least having that Whispering Helm before the symbol was even finished would have been pretty valuable for her too with that armor buff on her. On top of the decent lifesteal. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but something to look at. Also, the Souls Bulwark took a while to pick up for Rape Team, and definitely wasn't a fan of that. But in the end, DCX deserving the victory, playing strong, and they come out on top. So maybe a little bit tougher than they expected, but hey, they got the victory. But with that said, it is just game number 1 here in this best set of 3. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're going to have game number 2 just around the corner here. We'll be right back. HoN Tour Season 2, Cycle number 5.